Hi guys, so today I'll talk about the Chevening application. As you all know, the Chevening Scholarship in the UK is now open for application, and I'll talk about key details that you need to know before you apply so that you don't make mistakes that will kick you out of the application pool. And I'll be sharing some of the tips along the way that will make you a successful applicant, so that you get into the scholarship, but also you get the best out of it. So today I'll share key details about what you need to know before you start your application to save you time. Of course, you still have to research a lot, but I just want to share some of the things that I have had people ask me a lot as someone who has maybe gone through the process. So I'll share those things that I think are important, what you need to know, the eligibility criteria, key timelines, and all that. But before we get into that, I just want to tell you that this is the right time to apply for any scholarship if you want to get to school in 2024, September, October. This is the right time. Normally between August and December is the time that most of the scholarships are open. So this is your chance. Apply to as many as you can. I wouldn't advise you to go applying for everything, but just make sure that you are eligible and you're qualified to apply to the ones that you decided to apply. My own strategy is to narrow down to one or two and just make sure that I give the time and resources and research for just one, so that I can give it my best. So anyway, make use of the time. There's a lot of work involved. There are essays to write. There's a lot of reaching out, connecting to your network, and just finding out more information about these scholarships. So this is why I'm also here, to help you navigate some of these questions and help you address them. So anyway, I'll start with general information about this scholarship. What you need to know: this is only a master's scholarship. It's not undergraduate, it's not PhD. This is only master's. It means you have to have undergone undergraduate studies and you are close to graduating, or you have graduated in the last few years from your undergraduate studies. It's also based in the UK. That means you have to apply to at least 3 schools based in the UK. There are certain scholarships that support you in your home country, in your university, without having to travel, but for this you have to go to the UK. So that's another very important component of the scholarship. Now, in terms of programs, I know there are other scholarships that limit you as far as what you can study, but this one is open. You can study any program that you are interested in, as long as you really express your interest and show why you want to study that course. So we'll come to that, don't worry. But I just want to dive into today's conversation, which is what you need to know. The first thing is about timelines. What's the application process look like? So this scholarship was open in September 12th. Now we are in October, so the days are really going. It will close in November 7th. So what I usually do is just mark my calendar so that I don't miss that important final date. Although I would encourage you to apply as soon as you can, don't rush, but also don't be the last minute person who is always trying to do their stuff last minute, because I do believe that if you start in advance, you will prepare well, you'll feel good about your essays and your application, and therefore there's high likelihood of success. So having said that, after that closure, mid-November to December 2023, there's what we call sifting. So they're trying to look at, did you meet eligibility criteria, which I'll talk about in a minute. But did you meet the minimum standard that they put in there? Do you have the work experience? Do you have what it takes? So that's an initial screening that will kick out people who don't qualify for this opportunity. And then early to mid-November to December, again, we have the reading committee assessment. This is where people who have gone through the program or other people who have experience in reviewing essays will sit down, review the essays, come up with a short list, and then send back to the committee, the Chevening committee, who will ultimately at the end select the people who qualify. So after that, early to mid-February 2024, we have the shortlisting process. So that is when the committee is satisfied that indeed you deserve a chance, they reach out to you and then they schedule an interview. So this happens on a rolling basis, basically from around February. So by beginning of March, if you don't hear from them, they either will reach out to say you are unsuccessful, which you don't want to hear. But I mean, if you are unsuccessful, that's not the end of the world. There are other opportunities out there. But for those who will proceed to the next level, they will actually schedule an interview date with you. So you need to prepare well for that. And that's also why I'm here, to give you tips on how to pass those interviews. And then February 2024, because at this time you may not have gotten a hold of your referees, that's the deadline to submit your references, February 2024. So I think it happens just before they shortlist people, so you want to start early so that you reach out to those referees and just notify them that you're applying for this opportunity. You'd like them to recommend you for the program. This is also a time to upload your educational documents. If you had a bachelor's degree, you want to upload them, or your transcripts, whatever education documents that you need to upload. And then between 26 February to 26 April, now that's the time for interviews, which you need to prepare well for. From June 2024, results are announced. If you qualified and you are successful during the interview stage, they reach out to you with the congratulatory message, which everyone looks forward to. And then you have a month from there. In fact, for next year, it's July 11th to confirm your spot. Confirming your spot means that you have met all the conditions, all the eligibility criteria that they put forward, and that you have gained the unconditional offer from one of the 3 universities that you applied for. I would say though that getting the university acceptance, it's usually not an issue, especially if you got a second lower at least, or second upper, or better still, a first class honors from your undergraduate studies. So that's all about the timelines. Of course, if you are selected, the studies will begin between September and October 2024. In fact, as we speak now, people who qualified for the 2023-24 academic year are just starting off their program now. So on timelines, the key date to note there is the closing date for this application period. But I would suggest that you should apply early enough, because remember, from my own experience, the questions never change. So you can start as early as possible to prepare your essay so that you're not caught up with time. The other thing I want you to know is the eligibility criteria. So one of the eligibility criteria is you have to be a citizen of an eligible country, and that information is online. You can check if your country is eligible. Most of the Commonwealth countries are eligible, so but just confirm. And then you have to return home at the end of your studies, which is normally 1 year. You have to have completed an undergraduate degree. It's not a diploma, it's not a certificate, it has to be a degree program. So that's really important. And then you have to have a work experience of 2 or more years. Now this is where people get confused, because the work experience, according to Chevening standards, is not only the paid employment, not paid full, it's also paid and full-time, but it also includes the time that you put in when you are either volunteering or interning, as long as it's not part of the program of your study. So that's, I hope we are clear there. And you don't have to have the 2 years experience after school, meaning you can be in university but still volunteering elsewhere or doing community service, those community outreach programs. They still count as part of the 2 years. So if you are in a 4-year program, you volunteered maybe 40 hours in a week for 2 years, then you qualify for the program. If it is 20 hours a week for 4 years, you qualify. I mean, the point here is you don't have to have a paid full-time permanent employment. No, that's a plus, but even if you are actively volunteering, you're good to go. So I hope that's clear. And then the 3 universities from the UK, that's just to minimize risk. If you apply to just one, you might not get the chance, but here you have an option to apply for 3, which is good, because 1, they don't charge any fees, and 2, you increase your chances of being accepted, which from my experience, they like international students. So there's a high likelihood that if you got as we said, second upper, first class, or second lower with a good experience, then you will be accepted into the program. Now, these conditions are really important. In terms of documents, there's you have to have the education, as we talked about, the undergrad degree, the offer letter from one of those universities. Here's the trick that I want to give you guys. You don't have to have applied to the 3 schools when you are applying for Chevening. You can apply for Chevening, identify the 3 schools that you will be applying to, and then list them there. Now, once you submit your Chevening application with those 3 schools, you can't change them. So you have to be really careful in terms of the schools that you select, because you will not have a chance to change them. You can change, though, from one university to another when you are extended the offer letter and you had not selected a university of your choice. Meaning, if you have 3 universities which accepted you, you can select one of the 3 regardless of the how they were showing in your application. So you will have that chance, but just don't have the pressure to apply to all the three universities at the time of submitting your Chevening application. It's a plus, and if it were me, I like to do my things early and finish, check that tick box, but you don't have to do it. But you have to select the schools already. I hope that's good. In terms of funding, Chevening application, many people ask, will I pay my living costs? Will I meet part of the tuition fee? It's all catered for. They pay for your tuition, they pay for your living costs, accommodation, books, travel to and from your country, within the UK. It's a lot of benefits in this program. So I really highly encourage you to apply. And just to conclude our discussion today in terms of the benefits, in the UK, as you know, it offers a high quality education. That's one of the benefits. The second is you get to interact with a large pool of people from different countries with different backgrounds, from different places, with diverse perspectives. So it's a lot of enriching experience, and they do have a lot of those events that help you to connect with each other. So it's a really wonderful program. I would encourage you guys to apply. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment. I will reach back to you. We move forward. So in our next videos, I will be talking about the essays. There are 4 essays in this scholarship. There's a leadership essay, networking, studying in the UK. Why do you want to study in the UK? What's your plan after you study in the UK? Are you coming back home? Of course, you have to come back home and implement whatever you learned. So you have to convince the team that indeed you deserve the scholarship, because you'll come back home and implement whatever you learned. So thank you so much. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.